I traveled to 10 countries in 6 different continents last year, and I didn't have to pay for a single flight. Nope, I don't have a trust fund. It's all thanks to my credit card system I've spent many hours over the past 8 years to refine. And because I like you, I'll break down my entire system for you right now. Most videos, articles, and blogs tell you about one card and the pros and cons, but this ignores the fact that cards can work together and complement each other to save you even more money. So I'm gonna show you all the cards I use, how you can make the most of them, and at the end, you'll know exactly why. This video alone could save you thousands of dollars this year, so listen closely. There are also many changes to many of the popular cards this year, which forced me to change around some things for this year, but this is new, up-to-date information, so let's dive in. Here's what we'll be covering. I'll start with a quick explanation of my philosophy when choosing cards for this system. This should answer most of the "why not this card" questions. I'll also explain why I'm picking these based on my preferences to help tailor it to yourself. Then I'll cover each card in the system, which I broke down into 3 different levels. Level 1 is nice and easy. Just 2 cards that work together that could be the only 2 cards you ever need. Level 2, however, builds on top of Level 1 for some serious travelers. Level 3 is a recent addition that I added for this year that I think is going to be great. Then I'll cover some bonus cards that work great in the system but may not be right for everyone. And the best part is, these are built to stack on top of the base level, so you can reap the rewards with as little as 1 card, or as many as all 5 like me. Finally, I'll give you the best way to utilize and maximize all these free points you're getting with one simple tool. And I'll close with some crucial mistakes that you need to avoid. Yeah, I'm gonna cover a lot of information, but don't even worry. I'll have a cheat sheet reference guide that you can download totally free with all of the key information. Links to all the cards will be in the description as well. Chapters are also marked in this video, so feel free to skip around, but I highly suggest going through every single one. All right, let's dive in and earn you some free flights. My credit card philosophy follows these 3 simple ideas. 1, I favor cards that have broad utility. What does that mean? That means I like to choose cards that are helpful in more situations and can be used in many ways. More ways to earn, and more airlines and hotels that I can use rewards with. For example, you won't see any airline or hotel specific cards in here. That's because those cards mostly give you benefits for their specific airline or hotel. If you're someone that swears by one airline, flies the same route all the time, or only stays at a specific hotel chain, getting their credit card may be worth it for you. Add it as one of the bonus cards if you'd like. But as someone who travels mostly internationally, flies whatever airline has the best flight and it's the cheapest, and almost never stays in hotels, it's simply not worth it for me. The second rule is that these cards are chosen for long-term benefits and rewards, not sign-up bonuses. A lot of the cards I'm about to show you do have great sign-up bonuses, but to me, it's a bonus and not the main strategy. There's a whole strategy around maximizing sign-up bonuses called churning, by opening up cards, getting the bonuses, closing them after X number of months, and so on. Sure, you can amass points that way, but to me, it's simply not worth the time, hassle, or headache required. Instead, I go for more of a set it and forget it strategy. Credit cards are supposed to be free bonuses, not a second job, in my opinion. So I will mostly ignore sign-up bonuses going forward, but know that they do exist and are a great bonus. The third part of my philosophy is I prefer cards that are easy to use. Some cards have special rewards when booking things in a certain way or certain times of the year, or on certain categories sometimes, but not others. Similar to the last point, I don't want another job. The less I need to keep track of, the better. I don't want to jump through all these hoops and keep track of everything in order to extract the benefits from the cards. I just want a simple system that works. And here's that system. Let's get to the cards. Level 1, simple and easy. Level 1 begins with Chase. However, not the Sapphire Reserve, but the Sapphire Preferred. After having and being a huge fan of the Reserve for the last 7 years, I actually downgraded this card to the Preferred just this month. And I'll touch on the reason for that in a second. But here's why I have the Chase Sapphire Preferred. For one, it gives you access to Chase Ultimate Rewards, which is one of the best, if not the best, travel reward systems out there, both in terms of point travel partners and redemption rates. If all of that was just gibberish to you, it'll make more sense in the utilization section in a second. Also, it includes all the purchase protections and insurance you get with travel cards like trip insurance and rental car insurance. The annual fee is $95, which is very easy to recoup, especially with the current 75,000 point sign-up bonus, which is easily worth $1,000 to $1,500 in travel. For point earning, this is what you get. 5 points per dollar on travel through Chase Travel, Lyft rides, and also Peloton. 3 points per dollar on dining, online grocery, and select streaming services. 2 points on all other travel. Note that this was removed from the reserve. 1 point on everything else. And you also get a 10% bonus point on yearly spend on the card at the end of the year. It also comes with a few other bonuses. You get a DoorDash membership plus $10 a month in DoorDash promotions, as well as a $50 Chase Travel Hotel reimbursement. Don't worry about all these specifics too much now. How to optimize spending on all the cards will be in my free downloadable cheat sheet. The other important card on this level is the Chase Freedom Unlimited. This is an awesome no annual fee card that synergizes with the Sapphire really well. When you have both cards, instead of getting cash back, you get Chase points, which you can pool together in your Sapphire Preferred account in order to spend. The main reason that you want this card is because it gives 1.5% back on everything, whereas other cards only give you 1% back on any general category. So it's a great catch-all card. So if you don't have another card that gives you a higher point bonus for a certain category, use this card and you'll get 50% more than any other card would get you. On top of that, it gives you 3% back on dining and drugstores. To be honest, it's a great card if you want to just have one card and not worry about annual fees or anything else. But this is a travel channel and it gives no travel perks, so I can't really recommend that. So as promised, really quick, here's why I think the Sapphire Reserve just is not worth it anymore. First, they jacked up the annual fee to $795. They also removed the 50% bonus redemption value, which was a huge bonus to the card. They also removed the points earned from general travel purchases like Airbnb and other booking. The Preferred gives the same 3 times points on dining, so it's not even better for that. And instead of all these, they added all these random credits of Apple Music and StubHub and Peloton that I would never personally even use. Plus, in order to utilize their hotel credits, you have to book hotels that are hundreds and hundreds of dollars a night just to save the couple $100 they give you in credits. Okay, rant over, let's move on to level 2. Level 2, more serious travelers. Level 2 is about stepping up your travel game by adding in the Amex Platinum card. They did unfortunately just increase the annual fee to $895, but I do think it's currently the best premium travel card out there. Firstly, it of course gives you access to the American Express travel points, which is also up there with Chase Ultimate Rewards as one of the best redemption values. And it has its own group of hotels and airlines that you can transfer points to. Most of the value from this card comes from all of the bonuses that it gives you. I'll put all of them on screen, but some of the most notable ones are its sign-up bonus, which I think I got like 175,000 points, but it does vary. Paid for clear membership, and also TSA PreCheck and Global Entry, which it's really nice to have both clear and PreCheck. It also gives you a $200 airline fee credit, which you can use for baggage fees or food on the plane or things like that. And you also get a $400 credit to restaurants on Resi every single year. So it's pretty easy to recoup that annual fee, even though it is pretty high. One huge perk, in my opinion, is that it also gives you access to the Amex Centurion lounges, which are way nicer than all the lounges you get in Priority Pass. Plus, it seems like everybody has Priority Pass now, and there's always a long wait to get into any of the lounges lately. Amex is better, and there's one in my home airport in Seattle, which helps a lot. Spending-wise, this card is really only good for using on the Amex travel site or directly with airlines. Moving on to level 3, which is the last level. In this level is a card that I actually just added recently, which is the Citi Strata Premier. For a $95 annual fee, you get access to Citi Thank You Rewards, yet another travel point system. I decided to add this card because there's a lot of airlines that you can transfer Citi points to that aren't covered by Chase or Amex. I'll link to a good table showing those transfer partners in the description, but adding this card gives me access to more airlines point systems, adding flexibility when I'm trying to book with points. There's also some pretty good spending categories with this card, which is another great perk. You get the typical 3 times points on airlines and restaurants that you get with the Chase card, but you also get 3 times points on other travel purchases like Airbnb, which Chase previously removed. On top of that, you get 3 times points at supermarkets as well as gas or EV charging, which isn't offered by other travel cards. And these are common spending categories that you could rack up a lot of points spending in. So it's actually a pretty decent spending card. You also get 10 times points when booking through Citi's travel portal, which is more than any other card that I've mentioned. Bonus-wise, you also get $100 in annual hotel credit, which completely offsets the annual fee. I haven't heard many people talk about this card, and I recently just found it, but it's honestly a sleeper pick. Last thing to note here is you might be tempted to get the regular Citi Strata card because it has a $0 annual fee and seems pretty similar. I almost made that mistake too, but the points are worth 30% less when transferring to airlines, so that makes the free version of the card just not worth it. So make sure you're getting the Citi Strata Premier version. I'll have a link in the description to make it easy. Okay, and finally, for the bonus cards. Well, card. I used to also have the Built card here, which allows you to earn points on paying rent, but with the recent 2.0 changes that came out while I was writing this video, they made the card basically worthless in my opinion. So I just have one bonus card to recommend, and that's the Amazon Prime Visa. I know it's not a travel card, but I like having this card for 3 reasons. First, there's no annual fee. Secondly, you get 5% on Amazon, which I spend a lot of money at, and you also get 5% back at Whole Foods. And 3, there's also no international fee. So I actually take this card in my backpack when I travel as a backup in case my wallet gets lost or stolen. Okay, now you've amassed all these points, now what? Glad you asked, because how you use them really matters. The first thing to know is that the best value you can get from these points is typically from transferring to partner hotels or airlines. You can book flights with points, and the price in points will fluctuate just as it does with the normal price. So you can score some really good deals by having points available to transfer to different airlines. The best way of figuring out which points to use is by using a site I found recently called point.me. Point.me allows you to search for flights, and it'll tell you the best card points to transfer to which airline in order to book the best deal. Without it, you would have to go to every single individual airline website one at a time to see what their point cost is. It honestly works really well, and it's only like $12 a month. I've already saved way more than that in time and points with just one booking. I have a referral link in the description which will give you a discount, and there's also a free tier that you can try out. I highly recommend it. Okay, now for some very important things to remember. The first thing is you never, ever want to pay any interest on a card. Interest rates are up to 30%, while reward bonuses are in the single-digit percent. One interest payment erases all the rewards you've gained. So it's never, ever worth paying interest just to get points. So only spend on a card what you can actually afford. The second thing to remember is that the best value of these cards is transferring points to airlines or hotels, and then using the points to get great deals. Never redeem points for cash or gift cards. Another thing to note is booking with points isn't always the most efficient use. Sometimes you can get a better deal just paying with cash than you would transferring points to the airline. So make sure you also compare the price to the point value. Luckily, Point.me helps you do that. This sounds like an ad, but they're literally not even paying me. It's just a great site. Next thing to note is about credit scores. A lot of these cards have various credit score requirements. There are countless resources on the internet about credit scores and how it works and how to improve your credit score. I recommend using those to understand the impact that opening new cards will have. For example, if you plan on applying for a mortgage anytime soon, you might not want to open new cards. And the last thing to note is about attaining the cards. On a similar note, there's also restrictions and impacts of opening cards too quickly. And a lot of credit card companies even have their own restrictions. So just keep that in mind. Oh, okay, I know this was a lot of information. To make it easier, I made a handy PDF version, cheat sheet, that you can refer back to. It has all of the key information about each card, how to decide which card to use, which points you can transfer to which airlines, and more. Honestly, I should be charging for it with how much information I put together and how much time it took, but it's absolutely free. If you're interested, you can grab that at the link in the description or by scanning this QR code on screen now if you're watching on a TV. Or if you're on mobile, you can also just screenshot this video and do it later. Just give me a second to pose. All right, and that's it. That's my entire credit card system. Let me know what you thought or what you would change, and push the subscribe button for all this free information. Thanks so much for watching.